if you wake up in Ghana, don't only pray for mental fortitude, but also patience. A sanitation minister went to Mepe, a disaster-ridden place, and told the people they are part of the reason why this disaster is happening to them. This is Sauce and Pepper, and I'm joined with the beautiful Aram and Kingsley. Aram, do you agree with the minister?
No. I don't even understand.
You know, she said they started the simulation exercise way before this spillage was happening, and that they advised them to evacuate. But one question they were asking is, evacuate to where?
Exactly. So how is this their fault? And I'm saying that I'm sure if we go to VRA, there's in someone's drawer, I'm sure there's a document over there that someone has prepared. I'm sure it's someone's master's or project work undergrad providing a solution to this flooding issue. This dam spillage has been happening for years. And for years, there is no one single shelter where we can say that should the dam get full and there needs to be a spillage, we can move the people from here to there. There's no single shelter in the history of this country.
Yeah. I even think that should be even
it should be a national issue. So that's one. Now, two, most of them are saying that they did not have ample time to evacuate. And three, you let people settle in a place that you know has potential for spillage.
Right.
And then you said you told them
that you took them through. And
you took them through a simulation to evacuate to where? Because even in areas outside this country that are flood prone or disaster prone, people have plans in place. There are people who, when they build there, they have underground silos that they can move to and they fill it with food. There are people who board their houses, which means use things to cover them in terms of like schools have flood management issues. And the thing is, we also are not proactive in this country. And there are issues like climate change. We've never had this level of spillage probably.
Yes.
Because the rain season comes and then it goes. It's ready every other day of the week.
Yeah. So even if a layman like you know this, the technical people should know this.
I know for a fact that there's a document in somebody's drawer. And then there will always be that one person in the company who will say that, oh, we need to do this. And there will always be other people that shut that person down and go like, oh, this no. And the funny thing is, this spillage is still continuing.
Yes.
This water is not going to go down anytime soon. And it's still raining.
Right. You know, Kingsley, throughout this disaster, man-made disaster, I want to believe it's a man-made disaster. Through it all, VRA and NADMO and the ministry has said they've spent over 9 million Ghana cedis on this, on reliefs and helping relocate people. So my question, don't you think this 9 million could actually be invested into temporary shelters or even relocating like settlements that they can actually relocate the people to? 9 million can do a good job as that.
So, excuse my language, but we are all sick in this country, to start with.
But this is a problem.
You see, my thing is, this is a man-made disaster. We have data on this, and we have engineers, like proper engineers at VRA. The last time we spilled this was in 2010. In this country, we all know that we expect 2 spillages every year. One from Burkina Faso, Bagre Dam, and then the Weja one. But you see, I want to take it on 2 sides. One, let me tackle the minister. Timing is everything in communications. This is a crisis situation. What you say or what you don't say, people are watching. And people will deduce what they want to deduce.
That's true.
You have your boss go there, make a very jovial statement. People took it out of context. He may not have meant any harm or any malice, but people took it out of context. I think you should learn from that.
That's the problem of this government. They don't learn.
You should learn from that because you see, in crisis situations, it's about livelihoods, it's about lives, it's about their health. The water there is contaminated. People are battling and they are trying to make ends meet. Imagine you living in your 3-bedroom house and the next minute you are begging for rice to eat or to feed your immediate
and this
family.
just takes people straight into the poverty line.
This is not the time we do. We should have. Because you are in government.
Yeah.
They are not supposed to answer. Even where they were, if they were not supposed to be there, whose responsibility is it?
Exactly. You know that it's a flood prone. If you spill, demarcate that land, make it a farm or something. At least that one we know that no lives are lost. The crops can be colossal damage. Right? But people are living here. You continue to let people live there. You continue to let people
Build a life
businesses there. And then you come and tell them that I told you. Or we try to simulate. No, because the spillage is going to continue. You need to find a way. And like I'm saying, this water is not going to meme by the end of the year.
Okay, so to play the devil's advocate, don't you think that the indigents too are slightly to blame because they know that, I have come to tell you there's a disaster coming. Please move. And I believe even if you go to these places, there are places where that has been marked that you don't build here, you shouldn't build here.
And who let them build there? It's who let them build there. I'll give you a typical example. There is, and I in preparation for this conversation, I was giving someone that same example in my office. There is, you see how trade fair is?
Yeah.
So in French it's called foire. There's this place that they used to do trade fairs, and then somebody builds, or they realize that there's a chemical plant next to it. Okay. Do you know what the government of that country did?
No.
Stopped fairs from ever being held there.
Wow.
And moved it elsewhere. Because when I saw the vast space, I was like, what is this doing unused? They said, no. We used to do this thing here, but then there's a chemical plant next to it.
This can't be Ghana.
If anything happens, we can't afford to risk it.
Ghana,
not to catch you.
In Accra now, can you see a bare land line?
In those places, there is no living situation around it. They've created the radius. Do you understand?
Right.
So if you know that you have this dam, and the funny thing is, we cannot even afford to allow this dam to break.
Yes,
because
the consequences are there. Even
if we cannot manage that situation, so if it means boarding that place off, you cannot build here. It's somebody's job to make sure that is done. Not you saying that the people who give them the permit.
So like I mentioned, timing is everything. Maybe we can have this conversation after everything has calmed down a bit. But in the midst of this, and you stand there and blame them, see, human beings naturally, quote and unquote, we are foolish. If you don't direct us, that is why we have laws.
A lot of strong words. So.
Yes.
Yeah, but
yes, human beings. Have you used the Pokwasi stretch lately?
You see, Pokwasi is far. Adenta, they demonstrated that they wanted.
The place is fast becoming a marketplace, and we are waiting for them to establish. And then when they finish and we are moving them, you have an association say, we've been here for 20 years, and now you are moving us. So look for a place for us.
The people demonstrated and said they wanted crossovers or walkovers, and they are still crossing the road.
So is it a people's problem?
Yes.
The country in itself, the people who are
who makes the country. The people.
No, you see, my problem is when you want power, you outline a lot of solutions for us. You know the problems. It's not as if politicians don't know the problem. You know the problem, but when it's time for you to deliver, you turn to me and say, I told them. You told them what? If you need to get me out of the way for water to pass, are you telling me that you come and negotiate with me?
You know, I like what you said about the fact that they have engineers and they're you know how the spillage happens. And you see, one thing I know about every profession is the constant evolution. We have all been talking about climate change. Somebody said something that made me lose a lot of respect for them. They said climate change was like a propagandist idea
Right.
and like all this
A conspiracy theory.
I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to go into this argument with you because you're a part of the problem. But then again, look at the pattern of rain, and it started bit by bit, and we've been experiencing rain in times that
I think it's evidential.
and the kind of rain that is even falling. You know, in the past, the rain will give
Charlie,
you
when
warning.
it hits the ground, you
Yeah.
can feel it.
These days, the rain does not even give you warning.
And there are months when it is raining, you are asking yourself, even in this month,
Yes.
we are
So
experiencing rain.
tell me why we have these times. So we're
Right.
supposed to prepare.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how there is no single shelter. You need to know that if we having the engineers or whatever you have, if I spill this water, this amount of water, this is the ground that is likely to cover. So we need to create, even just have like boarding house structures, like dormitory structures.
And you
Yeah.
see, you the minister, you are saying they were sensitized. Where were they supposed
What are they supposed to do with the sensitization?
Because imagine this, I'm a pensioner. I have invested all my monies
Yeah.
into building a home, something I call a home in my hometown because I don't want the whole noisy Accra environment. So I have invested everything into my home in my hometown.
Yeah.
And this happens to me. Where am I going?
That's a serious. And you know, the thing for me is that in this time and age where science and technology is leading the way, even with in terms of even housing project, you know, people are even using these containers to build houses and all of this. So the point I'm trying to make is, would it take too much to actually provide housing, settlement, shelters?
Saglami is still there.
With even all these
They can't even
technologies
move all these people
that
to
is happening.
Saglami is there, rotting away.
So-
people have suggested that you even move these people sleeping in classrooms. Can you imagine?
This-
You are
Bust
living in
them
your
up.
class.
You have STC.
Yeah.
Just bring the buses and bust them up. That's 9 million that you're talking about. You can use it to furnish, put mattress inside.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're listening to every other radio station this week from last week, the kind of donations, like the
It's
initiatives
crazy.
that people are taking. And one thing that I always love about Ghana and life is that if push comes to shove, right? I feel like that's one thing that when people
Human
say,
beings will always
we're
be
gonna
human
go to
beings.
war, I feel like
Yeah.
we don't have that kind of like
Yeah.
if push comes to shove right now, we're all gonna gather around to do what we need to
Yes.
do. That's one thing that I love about this country, right?
Right.
We're gonna gather because when I'm telling to every other radio station, like the donations
They are
the
doing
people
something
that
to
they are
help.
doing to help because we already know our government.
Yeah.
We know this particular
Yeah.
And you
government.
see,
Yeah.
what makes it even sad is sewage. See, the water
That's
now,
another
even
health
smelling
hazard.
it and
No,
inhaling
because
it,
the water is not going anywhere.
Right.
stagnant.
Did you hear me?
Yeah,
The water is
yeah,
not going. So it's
yeah.
a serious problem. And I said, I know for a fact somebody had proposed it, but it is sitting in somebody's drawer.
So,
now.
okay, so to hear you say this, here at Sauce and Pepper, we don't just talk about the topic, discuss the topic. We also try to come up with solutions, suggest, solutions to things. So do you think head should roll, or what should be the solution?
Whose head is going to roll?
Number one,
forward?
I am
What
more
solutions
concerned
would you
about the
suggest?
lives of the people
People
affected.
Right.
There's Saglami. There are lots of abandoned housing projects in this country.
Bust them.
We can take them there first to protect them because typhoid, mention them, waterborne diseases, the ones in the air.
Bilharzia, all of
And the
these.
sad thing is that once a communicable disease breaks out there,
That's it.
The spread?
Yeah.
So the first thing
so this
is
a danger looming.
and you're telling me that I told them.
no, it's already here with us. Looming is like you are talking last 2 weeks.
Right, it's here.
They are in it. They are in it. Imagine your kid is not going to school.
Yeah.
Your kid is not going to school because of what has happened.
Your business?
Their counterparts in Greater Accra and Kumasi are still learning. They will finish and go and write the same DEC. And when they bomb, you tell me that these people, they don't know book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is 2 weeks and counting. They are still
And
there.
it's going to continue. So you see, first things first, that's 9 million or whatever money else they have.
Yeah.
One of the projects that they've abandoned, find a way, right, to do that. And I love what, and you see, this is where MPs comes in, and DCs,
Assembly members.
assembly members, and all of that. And
Opinion
right now,
leaders
it's
and all
such that everyone is fighting for their people.
Yes.
The MPs of those communities are coming together asking for whatever relief items they need to give to their people. But how do we get to, for me, move them out, get them places? So I know some, I'm not going to mention it, but like I know there are people who are working on building temporary shelters that can then be converted into places to move them out so that at least they have some decent places to sleep in. That is a bit spacious for them to be together. You also have to think, you need to group people in families and all of those things to make sure that we sort that out, because like I said, the water is not going down anytime soon. The spillage is still continuing. Now, we need to handle the current situation we have, and the people who will be further displaced as the spillage continues. That's, if we don't handle this now, that is going to be an entire different...
Another worrying observation I made was we haven't centralized where to take the relief items.
Everything.
So if you are allowed enough, or you have an MP like Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa, then all eyes will be on you. But you see, the extent of damage,
it's crazy.
It goes even all the way to some parts of Eastern region. My beloved Kwewu. I just got to know yesterday that some villages around there are from plains, even Adan East.
And I'm hearing it's going all the way like to south.
Crazy.
Like, I was like, and some of these places I didn't even know that the water from Akosombo could reach there.
But you see, because the places around Volta region is where the thing started, we are all fixated on these areas, neglecting the others.
And you see, another thing is that the centralization also of these things is that we don't even trust these people. You'll be surprised that in this crisis, somebody is hoarding things that they've brought.
God will punish that person.
That is the country we live in. Somebody is hoarding. And you see, for me, I also think that people who, I mean, watch them when we're also thinking about solutions, we also have to think of practical stuff. Because these people don't have a place to stay. If you give them rice, where are they supposed to cook it? You bab. So for me, like, for those who watch this, let's keep helping the best way that we can. Those of us who even live in the cities, please, this is the time that if you have relatives and friends who live down there, find a way to host them. And let's all help them get back onto their feet. There are businesses that have gone down the drain. We're not even just talking about homes, and there are people's businesses that have gone down the drain.
Everything they've ever worked for some people have lost it for good. Imagine some of the houses, like you mentioned, even when this thing goes down, you can't just go and live in the building because it will be weakened.
Exactly.
And the wiring
of the building.
Imagine turning on your plug and then the unexpected, because it has come into contact with water, or you have water in it.
This is giving me Noah vibes. We're going to need that.
So it's a very serious issue. So in conclusion, I'll say that the minister should know when to speak and when not to speak.
I think they need to build an act.
This is a very sensitive matter. Even if we have to have this conversation, we are stubborn as human beings, even abroad. People don't cross red lights. People still do.
Jaywalkers.
People still do. So if you leave us as human as we are, we will kill each other. But that is not what it is. That's why we have laws. Just to make it like something that will make you scared to even do. But we will still do it. So enforce the laws if you have to. The motorway, that one I can say is a looming danger. Because I hear you have to leave some buffer. And now we are building solid structures along the motorway. The motorway that never flooded, now when it rains heavily, the motorway floods. And we are thinking it's magic.
Interesting. So you are still watching Sauce and Pepper, and donations are still ongoing. So if you have any help at all, just let us know and subscribe to our channel to enjoy this.